and welcome back.
Hi,
We are
guys.
so excited to have with us Taylor Plicity and Natalie London of Hey King. Hey King!
Yes. I love that thing.
How are y'all doing? Thank you so much for chatting with us, crazy people. We really appreciate you taking the time.
Oh man, sorry, I'm still laughing at the air horn.
Best sound ever.
Listen,
We had that on tour. We had that on tour with Ben Harper, and like behind the stage, we would just do like air horn
Hype you up.
randomly.
It really does.
Oh, it hypes everybody up. Yeah.
Anytime you're in a club and you hear that, you're like, oh,
yeah.
Leveled up.
shit.
Wait, so we have you both on Zoom right now, and you're in different locations. So why are you guys in a fight?
Wow.
No, this is like the
What's
longest
happening?
we've ever spent apart. What has it been? 4 days? Taylor fractured and sprained her foot the other day, and she had to stay down there in San Diego at my mom's place, and I had to come back up to LA to work on something. So
Oh,
I'll be
okay.
right back.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just chilling. I'm just
Wait,
chilling here.
so
I hope you're milking that injury, bitch.
Yeah.
I'm so hungry.
No, instead I'm not using my.
Oh, I
like,
cooked so many
I'm
meals.
still not listening to the doctors at all. Like I'm probably gonna have to deal with this for much longer than what I'm supposed to. Cause like I still want to play. I still want to swim with my pups. Like man, it's so hard to have like super cute dogs and be injured, especially like on like feet injuries. So I don't know. I'm not really doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but yeah.
And why am I cooking for you so much?
Ooh.
Like I cooked for you
So
all
you
last
are in a
week.
fight.
A fight is about to happen.
I have to know for our listeners' sakes, what kind of cute pups do you have?
Oh, we have a Newfoundland. His name is Finnegan. He is my big like boy. He's so freaking cute.
Big old teddy bear.
Yeah, he's so
Like
scared.
165 pounds.
Right.
Like he's terrified of, like,
I remember when I was that.
Yeah.
And then we have a border collie thing, and she's absolutely out of her mind. I love her so much.
Aww.
Yeah.
We love pups here at Pride the Podcast.
So for
Yeah.
our listeners, you both are a couple, right?
Yes.
And
And
obviously
we're not in a fight.
We're not in a fight.
We need to make that, yes, very clear.
Yes, I'm not allowed to cook because I think I would accidentally poison someone. Like bad in the kitchen, really bad in the kitchen.
You're obviously this like amazing music artistry duo. So how did you both meet? How did this all come about? How did Hey King get started?
It's kind of a crazy story. I started Hey King before I met Taylor. I had played music and stuff for a really long time, and then while I was in like the height of hustling in New York City and playing everywhere, I went to Virginia to play a show, and I got bit by a tick in Charlottesville, like outside, like in this farmhouse, and didn't think anything of it and kept going, and ended up contracting Lyme, Babesia, and Bartonella. These two can be fatal co-infections. So I was doing music full time, and I was in my senior year at Columbia, and by the end of like my semester, like I had no idea like where I was. I was in the hospital all the time. Like he would be talking to me, and I'd be like, do you know where I am right now? Like how did I end up here? And it turned out I was having seizures, all types of things. So I was sent back to San Diego. I ended up, long story short, bedridden for over 4.5 years. It took them like over a year to diagnose me and all this stuff, and 3.5, 4 years at least of treatment. And so I kind of went from like playing music to never thinking I'd play again. And nobody thought I would even like get through the whole thing. And so I started, I would watch like Where the Wild Things Are, and you kind of have to learn to accept like starting your life over again from scratch, because after that much time of being completely isolated and facing your death for a long time, you kind of just rewrite it all. And Where the Wild Things Are was like this really fun, it like called to me of like the young like adventurous spirit and the wanderer, and like the rage that kid had, and the pain and the grief and like all of this stuff. And so I ended up naming the band Hey King when I started writing again, because that's what they call Max. when they're trying to yell to him.
Yeah.
And I just started playing, and
Oh.
yeah, because they're like, "Hey, King," like
Right.
instead of
I
they
love
don't know his
that.
name.
Oh, I love that too. Because that was going to be my next
Yeah.
question was where did Hey King come from? Like what was the
Yeah.
inspiration behind that? But I love that.
That is so.
It was crazy. And then Taylor and I met like a year or so after I started the band, and we fell in love. And she's like,
Aw.
Taylor's an amazing actor, and
Wait,
like,
tell us the whole
incredible.
story. I need the whole story.
Meet cute.
It's actually
The meet
absolutely crazy. Like I don't know, man. It's so funny because I feel like I just met her like last week, and we've been together for 6.5 years already.
Oh,
Wow.
You guys are so not in a fight.
Oh yeah, we're totally like just in a fight right now. What? Nah, it was cool. I had been invited, so I was working on set, and this kid kept asking me to like go out with him. And then I was like, no, I'm not interested, but like I don't mind like, going out with you as friends. And then we ended up at this one place, and I'm just sitting down, and then this girl comes up to me, and she's gorgeous, and I don't know, man, it just was like time Sam skill type thing. And I don't know what possessed me, but I was like, I have a good idea. Let me do a handshake with her and see if she like, and have that be what dumb. I have no game, guys, like no game whatsoever. So I reach out my hand, and I'm like, do you know this? Like, not even like, hi, what's your name? I'm like, do you know handshake? Like, hey, what's up?
Do you
And
know
he
what
did.
a handshake is?
No, he did.
That
No,
was-
no, a secret handshake.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know this routine.
Right.
And she knew it though, and it was like
Oh.
this weird, like 8-step handshake. That
I've never met
was like-
another person in my entire life that
Was it
knows
from
this
Parent
handshake.
Trap?
I literally thought the Parent Trap.
We're just like,
no.
do you know this?
Well, we got to see y'all do the handshake. I wish y'all were in person. I want to see the handshake.
know.
Oh,
No, then we'll
man.
fall in love with them.
That's true too.
That is
Right.
true.
Oh, she's
You're
doing.
gonna try to do it by yourself?
I know it doesn't work, and now
It doesn't work alone. But it was me and my best friend's handshake when I was like 9 years old, and I never met another person who knew how to do it. And same
Aw.
with Taylor, like nobody. And so I have no idea what sparked that in you, but
It
like
was love at first shake.
Aw.
I
It
love
it
it.
was weird.
I love it. That should be the title of your next single.
Love it
Love
for
at
shake.
Yeah. So then you both fell in love and then started writing music together, performing together.
Yeah.
Basically it.
Yeah,
That's
she
amazing.
asked me to like, I think it was her bandmates at first, like their bassist. I don't know. They asked me like start singing some songs with them, like start doing like harmonies and stuff. Because I've done like a ton of musical theater in the past, so like music's not like new to me, but it wasn't ever something I was like pursuing. But when she asked me to like sing with her, she's my favorite songwriter like of all time, and so it was kind of like, whoa, are you serious? And then it was super super stressful because she's my girlfriend and like my love, and I want to like spend the rest of my life with her, and this is her dream. And so there was like a lot of like conflict with the like, okay, how do I make sure that like I don't ever like bring her down, because her level is like I hold her
You're
on.
crazy.
But for real, because I'm just
That's
kind of like a
sweet.
goofball. Like I don't know. And she's just like this really powerful like singer songwriter. Like, and I'm just kind of, hey, what's up? I don't know. But
No, I think Taylor brought something completely new to the band that I like had no idea was ever missing. Because we had like a 6-piece band, and when I started hearing the harmonies and different stuff, and I kind of always heard another vocalist, but I never thought I'd be in a band with somebody that like I was with. And when we brought Taylor up on stage like a couple of times, like those songs were they added such a literal like intimacy to the music and like this different sense of vulnerability. And I watched like people who had been seeing me play for a long time were like, this is something you should, because I was like, am I just in love and like I like being on stage with this person, or is this actually like something that's coming across well? And they were like, everybody that I trusted and cared about in our bandmates and stuff were like, no, this is legit. And I loved it, so we just started continuing to build new songs and rewrite them and work them, and And
I think
yeah,
I'm
it
falling in
ended up
love.
being a whole album.
I'm literally sitting here in love. I'm just
Listen,
like,
I can sing too, and we can be in love, and I'll come
Yes,
up on
come
stage
Yeah,
with
we're
you
singers over
too.
here.
We'll be Hey King
Are you?
Queens.
Hey, Queen.
hey,
Yes.
King and Queens.
So who was
my
your
God.
music inspiration? Like where did this love of music come from?
Oh man, Taylor.
Mine or
No, I don't know. I mean, I think both of us, like, for me especially, like, I had a really crazy childhood, as I'm sure we all have had. I don't know, but music was like the thing that made me feel incredibly validated about feeling things that weren't acceptable to feel. And so I like, you know, I loved a lot of bands that like like as a little kid I loved like Tori Amos and Nine Inch Nails and like people that were like had a huge sense of humor in their music but also were like really raw and like vulnerable and just like put it all out there, and I loved that they turned their vulnerability into a superpower, and I felt like that was such a like a brilliant place and to go with it. And for me like music has always been, I always say it's my first language. In case you can't tell, I have such trouble talking. I'm much better at singing than like, you know, speaking. And so, yeah, it just was never even a second thought that would be what I always wanted to do. Yeah.
So you've mentioned you've had some challenges in your childhood. Taylor, you have as well that I've read about. How does this affect your music and your artistry, and how does it affect your songwriting? Are there any like tidbits in your lyrics that kind of have been inspired over the traumas and challenges that you've overcome?
Natalie, can I talk about a B-side?
Sure. I think, yeah, and I think Lucky like speaks to it a lot.
No, Lucky's a much better one.
No, so you don't have to ask me, hon. Like, just say whatever you want.
There's literally a song like about like my mom that Natalie helped me write. Like it was one of the first co-writes that we ever did, and it started off with just like a journal of like, I don't know, it was just a lot because my mom like was in the meth thing, like she's very neglectful. Like I just had like a really strange, I mean everyone has like their childhood and like what they've had to go through as far as hardship goes, but if it wasn't for like anime characters and just random families that I found within fictional worlds, like I don't know who the hell I would be today. Because like that's what you either did, you either like found solace through like creativity or you found like drugs, and that's just like the small town that I grew up in. And so it's been really difficult, like now having a parent that was an addict for so long, now being sober, because she, you know, like it comes from a place where it's like, oh, everything's all fine, like this is the amends that I needed to do, was just become sober and then bring myself back into your life. And that's not what it is, because like when you're addicted to like that kind of like that level of not only alcoholism but like just drug addiction, like you're self-medicating in some ways,
right?
So Natalie and I, like we definitely use music as like a way of just coping, as well as like feeling validated and being okay with feeling angry, feeling like sad, feeling happy, feeling like rejoiced, like so
like sitting with those feelings, sitting with those feelings. They're feelings for a reason, and a lot of people don't like that. Nobody really does.
Nobody does. People tell people to hide their feelings, especially when you're being vulnerable or sensitive. People say you shouldn't have that because it shows sign of weaknesses, and I think that that's bull, because people should express that.
That's why they're there.
Yeah, that's literally why you have them. If you weren't supposed to, you would have it.
What about you?
Yeah, and then Lucky, that was a tag team.
Yes, Taylor would do the same thing if we were in person together right now. She's just would just slap me. Be like, your turn. No, but like Lucky is one of those songs off the record where like the middle of the song just says like, let me go back and tell me that I'll survive, and say someday you'll find me. And like just that speaking to your younger self kind of an aspect of like you will like find the light at the end of this, you know. And then it'll get dark again. And then it'll get light again. I'm just kidding.
No, it will. It's called life.
I mean, and
Right.
so many people,
Yeah, it's
like,
called life.
need
It's
those
like this.
lyrics, to be honest, like so many people need those lyrics, especially with the young people we have today. I mean, suicide is at its highest rate. There are so many people who are just they don't feel like they know what to do with their feelings. And I think that is such a very strong lyric to have.
Yeah, you have to kind of trust that your future self will like get you through this in a sense. If it's not like a higher power or like angels or whatever it is you believe in, there's also you know?
Yeah.
So
I always tell myself, like, if I've already made it here, which was fucking hard, I think I can make it a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You have to always tell yourself that. So speaking of strength, something I want to
Yeah.
talk about before because I noticed earlier you brought up Ben Harper and your little air horn you do backstage. So yeah, we used to do it with our mouths before we got the sound. So
Right.
note that. So how was it working with him as a producer, and what did that mean for you coming out with your debut album?
Because he has 4 Grammys, right? Is that
Yeah,
right? 4 Grammys. Like, he's huge.
He's out of control. So how did that come about, and how exciting is that?
that's crazy. He was a blast to work with. I mean, he treated like the whole experience. It was like for me having this whole playground, because I had walked in with arrangements for all these different instruments and all this stuff, and what I remember at the studio being like, oh, sometimes we like have a harmonium like on this part, and I'd assume like he would bring in a sample or something, we would play harmonium, be like, oh great, I'll go get a harmonium, and then he would like go to the warehouse and like come back with like all of this fun stuff. We just had a lot of time to like experiment. Him and I, especially in the first half of the record, like we played so many of the instruments. Him and I both loved to play everything. So I would jump on bass and he would jump on bass. And I would jump on piano, and we would like be like, oh, that was cool, but like let me do this. And it was super fun. And then he offered to take us on the road with him, and touring with him was like the greatest like teaching experience you could ever have. We did
That's crazy. I'm sure you had moments where you sat back and you were like, this is my life right now. Like, did you ever have those reflections? Sometimes when you're doing things, as you know, in the performance world, when you're doing, you're like, why am I here? How did I do this? Like, why am I? We've done this several times, so I'm sure you had that moment, because that's a really amazing achievement.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks. I also love the moments that we've had too, where it's like I could literally say anything I want, and like 5,000 people will hear me say it. Like, or do I even know how the song goes? Like,
I think that's where it hits.
just one on stage where you're just like in the groove and everything's going great, and you're like, wow, this is amazing. And then like a little bit like of a backburner is like, what if I don't remember the next part?
Yeah.
Like,
all the time.
You're all listening to me right now. I could say anything. Like,
yeah, that would happen to me where you're like playing and you get into this muscle memory aspect, and it's amazing. And especially like being thrown into those, we did 3 North American tours with Ben, and so they're huge venues and like some like 3-tiered like crazy venues, and you're just on there and you're like, and the next chord is probably like in your head, you're singing everything perfectly, but you're like, pretty sure it's going to be an E. Yes, that was an E. Okay, perfect. Like, I got it.
And Taylor, you probably experienced that like from your acting, like, you know, when we were back on stage doing acting and stuff, you're like, am I gonna remember this next line? I cannot tell you how many times I was about to go out. I was like, I don't know this script at all.
Yeah, I'm more waiting for your like cue on stage, and it's like I'm supposed to be listening for this word, but now I'm drifting off, and it's like, oh god, what's my next line?
Oh,
what's the line?
My favorite is when you come out for a scene, but then you start saying lines from the next scene.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I have luckily not done that yet.
Oh,
I hope we didn't curse you.
bitch, you
Brady
haven't
just
lived.
jinxed her.
You haven't lived.
And when you come out and you don't have your prop, and there was one, I was one time I was supposed to be inside of a plant, and I was backstage gossiping, and Adam got on the light. He's like, "Girl, where are you?" And I was like, and it was bad. It was bad.
Not on stage, not where I'm supposed to be.
Not where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
There have been some times that like my props are messed up. Like I used to do gunfighting at Old Tucson Studios, and some of the blanks that we use don't work. It doesn't
How did you
make
survive?
any sense. Huh?
How did you
Oh,
survive?
you watch shoot. No. You're professionally like you're trained. Like you
To shoot
can't
them.
ever like point directly at someone. You have to point 6 feet away from them. So it still looks like pointing
So like
at them.
social distancing gun shooting.
Right.
Got it.
Oh my God, 6 and 6.
Got it.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it was 6 feet.
Is that
Yeah, I
another
remember-
lyric?
yeah.
Another title of a single for you guys?
Braden's trying to get a
I'm
writing
trying
credit.
to listen.
Braden's
I
trying
could be
to
a
get a writing
producer
credit.
over here for Hey King and Queens.
I gotta write these down.
Yes.
Kings and queens.
So
So I've
talking
had,
about
I've had some messed up things happen like that, like with acting and stuff, but luckily not lines yet.
well,
Knock
girl,
on wood.
Yeah,
good,
yeah,
good,
yeah.
good luck.
Mhm.
So
I mean,
talking
I've had to like cover for people, like if they jump or skip, and then like
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
yeah,
Know
okay, and
about
then you're
that.
like, oh, okay, that's the script. Let's go back or like try to fix it and make it
No,
make
you're
sense.
not
Everyone
okay. You are actually not feeling well.
Right.
I had a girl who choked on an entire martini and she couldn't speak in our scene, so I said all of her lines plus mine.
You were like,
And I said,
get
I
it.
know what you're trying to tell me.
I know what you're
said,
trying to
I said, you're trying to tell me this is how you feel. I get it. It was crazy. But when I got off that stage, the director was like, you did that. I said, I did everybody's lines. I just said everybody's lines.
Yes,
It was great, but she was choking on that fucking olive. It was ridiculous.
that's clutch. That is
That's
clutch.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was in musical theater as a kid and did like Fiddler on the Roof, and remember just nobody remembered their lines at one point, and I like did not know how to ad lib, and I'd be like, matchmaking, huh? You're just like, yep,
That is
okay.
The
so
same
funny.
way I was when it come to ad libbing, it was just like
love that.
and then I would go blank, and then it was just like, oh, this is a disaster.
Everything's
The
going
whole
down now.
scene.
Matchmaking, huh?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
And you're just hoping that someone will walk out on stage and say, cut, and just start over.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Like, I can't do it.
Oh, man.
So you guys were talking about earlier, you know, when Braden asked the question about you guys being very strong and what you went through in your life. So I love the Road Rage. I cannot believe I said it like that. Music video. And it talks about how strong women are, and you guys talk about everything that you've done, like what's going on with women in the world today. So talk to me about that and what that meant to you guys.
Road Rage is one of my all-time favorite like productions as far as music goes to be a part of, and then also as far as like COVID filmmaking, music video making.
Mhm.
We try to make sure that with this song we reached out to like some people that we knew were just like really strong female influences in our life, and then we didn't give them any instructions. We were just like, could you please record yourselves like lip syncing to or singing along to this song, and I just really want you to know like we don't care what happens. Like we had like some people that were just really chill and like singing along to it, which was awesome because that's also like a feeling. And then we had like some people, I remember Deborah and Cheryl, please help me if I'm
Yeah,
pronouncing
yeah. Deborah Wilson from Mad TV and stuff.
Oh,
Oh,
I love
yes.
Deborah
I
Wilson.
saw that. That's
She-
awesome.
Yeah.
her interpretation of like her embodiment of it was like it was so free, like it was so angry, it was so like I don't know, it was really
The thing is, like, it's a song about, you know, sexual harassment and stuff, and it's one of the first songs that I felt like, yes, we're telling our part of the story of like, you know, what Taylor and I have both. I don't think you can find somebody that hasn't experienced, you know, walking down the street and being harassed,
Yeah.
but we know that, you know, it's not our story, it's everybody's story, and we really wanted to like get out of the way and let people interpret it the way that they felt
That's
Mhm.
beautiful.
the song,
That's
and like how
beautiful.
they wanted to present that. And that's why, you know, the label was like, you have to like at least introduce the song, like you guys got to be in the video somewhere. We're like, okay, you guys like, and then we step out of the way because we're like, no, but it's not about us really, it's about everybody. And I was so like that, they blew me away. Like Deborah Wilson's a genius, and that we were so happy to have. And Linnell had like so much swagger, and like just like everybody was so cool. And I love how everybody had a different vibe to like what that meant to them and like what their experiences were with that. And it was, yeah, it's been
It was
interesting.
very much a superhero song. It was
Yeah,
very
for
much that.
Aw, that's awesome.
I love you guys so much.
I just want to hang out with y'all.
Yeah, we like.
Where'd you guys all live? What's happening?
We're
in
in
New York. But we were just in LA.
We were just
like
in LA.
what, a week or two ago.
Why didn't we hang out? Everything's like open now.
Missed connection.
Why didn't we start Hey Kings and Queens, the ad lib musical theater troupe?
Stop right now.
Let's just
Stop
keep
right
these
now.
ideas rolling. I
Stop
like
right
it.
now.
I like it.
Listen, I can come up with some nice little beats and some nice little lyrics.
Yes,
Like
I'm an opera singer, so I can.
we
I can
could-
throw in
Really?
opera in
we
there.
could
I
make
am.
this work for
Mhm.
sure. It'd be like the Spice Girls
Dude.
reunited,
Yeah, but actually do
Yes.
it.
but actually do it.
Right.
And out of the closet.
Well, let's talk about
I'm
it
sorry.
because I know they are.
I must have missed something. Natalie, what was the thing?
I said the
Spice
Spice
Girls
Girls,
are
but like
lesbians.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have been so much fun. Like we were
Yes.
just talking about, next time we're in LA, definitely gonna hit you up and have a nice little kiki. It's been just so much fun getting to know you guys even more than we already do from
Yeah.
watching your videos and listening to your music. It's awesome to like have a real conversation with you
Aw.
both. So we really appreciate you taking the time. Taylor Plicity, Natalie London of Hey King, tell our listeners where they can find you and where they can listen to all your albums.
Definitely, we're on all the social media links stuff at Hey King Band. So yeah, at Hey King Band on like Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and whatever. If you go on Twitter, you'll just hear me talking mostly about like Sister Wives and terrible TV. But if you want to check out our music,
Yeah.
like YouTube, all we did, I mean, mainly during the pandemic, we made 7 different music videos throughout that. So that's where, you know, a lot of our music is. And the album right now, the self-titled debut record is Hey King, and that's out everywhere. So.
Congratulations.
Congratulations
Yeah.
on that again.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
love it. Congratulations on just being in love and like continue to spread your love and your good energy through
I
the
miss
album
you.
because
Natalie, come back. I miss you.
Taylor, I hope your foot gets better.
Yeah.
I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
Well, swimming with the
Listen.
pup.
Oh, the I miss you is to our dog on the bed. There. No.
Wow.
So you
Then
were
again,
in a
no.
fight.
Look at old
Starting
No, I
in a
miss
fight.
you, Taylor.
Starting in a fight. We're gonna end in a fight.
Exactly.
on the podcast, breaking up homes. All right.
No.
Thank you.
Thank
both
you so much for having us.
much.
Thank
We love you
Thank
guys.
you.
We'll
for
see you
being here.
soon.
Love you.
Bye.